La la la, hey, 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 oh, ay, ay,
Empowered Health, a podcast shedding light on how healing is an inside job. Keys to your inner power and total transformation. Discussing wholeness, wellness, and the effects of the mind on the physical and energetic parts of our being. A podcast to support you, moving from fear and pain into wellness and purpose. Belief, hope, connection, energetic keystones for transformation and inner power. Sacred knowledge that inspires us to look within, to find our own unique path. Empowered Health, release and rewire to become what you truly are, strong, whole, and empowered.
This is Jane and Shel, your naturopathic doctors, here to inspire you and support you on your journey.
Today we have Hartmut Schumacher, all the way from Bavaria. And Hartmut, I'm going to have you tell us about yourself a little bit because it's such a beautiful story. So yeah, just give us, where you started, university or before that, and share some of your beautiful story.
Oh, okay. After school, I worked as a bank clerk and also in the stock market. And then I started to go to, I had to go to the army, where I became a staff member of a general for 1 year. And then I wanted to study economics, but because of a good friend who was a very good piano player in classic music, I met many people from the University of Music instead of the University of Economics. And then I stopped studying economics, and I started to work in an art gallery because I wanted to do something with art and with economics. And so I decided to work in an art gallery. And in this art gallery, I met a Feng Shui consultant. And then I started a career as a Feng Shui consultant. And learned a lot about natural medicine. Then I established a Mahatma meditation center with the colleagues. I was a member of this Mahatma meditation center. And with my master in question mark, we run this meditation center and organize international meditations and participated in international meditations. Then I started to work in dowsing, because my first time when I was 13 years, I made my experience in dowsing because my oldest brother studied geophysics, and they used dowsing as geophysics, and I could find water directly. And then when I was 30, I started to make it professional, became electro-smog consultant. And then it was like this, that I became so exhausted by doing this job that I couldn't do this job anymore. And I started my career in the IT engineering business, where I have to find engineers for the automotive industry, which I couldn't do it with my, what's the word? No, for me it was not right, because I saw what was establishing, because everything 10 years ago went in the direction of 5G, all the autonomous driving and all that stuff. And I saw this was nothing for me, especially as I'm very hypersensitive. For example, if I have, for example, if you have a big car behind me which has autonomous driving system, then I get headaches. And then if the car's past me, then the headaches are gone. So this is not so good. And for this reason, I stopped this career and started to establish an own company in pulse electromagnetic systems. Because a friend of mine found a doctor who has invented for 20 years in the cellar his own pulse electromagnetic field system. And my part was marketing, and I brought it to an Olympic team, which took this device to Sochi and was very successful. And during the Olympic Games, and 6 weeks later, they won a world championship for the last 20 years, the first time, because of the effect, because you can increase the muscles and you increase the power of someone by relaxation of the mind. Yeah.
So beautiful. Can you describe to our listeners how we are electromagnetic and how this works?
Well, it's here in German, on the world, we have the Hartmut Schumacher frequency, which is 7.23 or 7.28 hertz. Yeah,
that's the frequency of the planet. Yeah,
that's the frequency of the planet.
Yeah,
and this is also the frequency of the nature. And it has the problem is it has speeded up. Now it's nearly 14 hertz, and the problem is that because of all the electronic devices, wireless LAN, telecommunication, Bluetooth, and all that stuff, the complete normal environment is nearly destroyed. And for this reason, the people are very exhausted, get headaches, are very tired, and the pulse electromagnetic field system creates a field where you lay in the field, and then it if this device, I work for a different company right now I want to mention, which works on university level, and this device can, for example, adjust the frequency in this way that the brain starts to react. For example, if we have a sleep program, we have a magnetic field which adjusts the brain for sleeping. You can't do anything. Yeah, You understand what I'm talking about?
Hartmut, it's so fascinating because a lot of people have never even heard what the field is for Earth, but people are becoming more aware of the fact that there are so many extinctions of species and a huge increase in cancer. Do you think the electromagnetic field being sped up has anything to do with that?
Yes, of course, there are several experiments and research in this area. But the problem with the research is the following. On the one hand, you have a research experiment where they prove that it creates cancer. And on the other hand, you have the research experiment where they prove it doesn't create cancer. And the problem and the situation is to get a situation where no one can win. For the problem is if someone would win, then you would make more research in this area, and you would find out that that the magnetic field systems or electronic magnetic field system is a weapon of the military, and then the many people would tumble down the rabbit hole. But as there are many researchers who say they have no influence on and it doesn't work, no one can get access to this knowledge, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What do you mean that this is a weapon for the military? Like they
Um,
not if you don't mind.
well, for example, I saw a YouTube video from the military of Moscow. They can, with specific material which they can spread in the air, and by magnetic systems, by magnetic fields, they can destroy rockets before they hit the ship, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is this is high technology. And in the case of a human body, it's like this. The human body needs to, yeah, he wants to have a relaxed state. He doesn't want to be stressed. And stress caused a lot of problems also concerning the way how the nutritions will be used in the body. Yeah. If for example, if a baby is born, in that moment in the cells of the body of the baby, there's an energy, electric energy, which has minus 100 microvolt. Yeah, and this 100 microvolt, this is the potential. The electricity of the cell, of the mitochondria. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Mitochondria.
the mitochondria,
Yeah.
powerhouse of the cell.
And the situation is this: with this power, the whole body works and can, for example, create energy, or for example, it has the possibility to restore and to restore the energy by sleep. Yeah. But the more we get older, the less energy we have. For example, a sportsman has 90 millivolt when he is 30. But when you become 35 to 40, then it starts to decrease. The energy starts to decrease. And if it starts to decrease, then we have, for example, 60 millivolt or 70 millivolt, a microvolt, or 40 microvolt. And a cancer cell has, for example, minus 20 microvolt. A rheumatic cell has 25 microvolt. Yeah. So this means the cell has not the power anymore to work very tough. You understand so far?
That's interesting. So a cancer cell has less voltage in its mitochondria, which affects the way it's dividing.
Yes. You can imagine you have a cell and you have the receptors. The receptors are like in a hotel with a door which goes in a circle. You know, what's the word? Circle door? I don't know.
The revolving door?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then now imagine you have the situation is like this. The nutritions need to come from the blood, which are transported by the blood through the lymph system to the cell. I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
And now the question is, how many nutrition, calcium, magnesium, comes to the cell? Because, for example, if there are only, I say it's like in a hotel, there are maybe 20 or 30 people outside, and 20 or 30 people want to get in. Yeah. So the door is running very slow. Yeah. The door needs to be very fast in order to get the 30 people in and to get 30 people out. And the energy what you need for the circling is also very low, because you don't need a lot of energy. Yeah. You understand? So, but now imagine there are 2 million people outside who wants to get a room in this hotel, and there are 2 million people who wants to get out. So the receptors or the circle door has to run very, very fast. And in that moment, you get all the nutrients in the cell and all the natrium and the water you get out of the cell. Because and the mitochondria, they have to work very tough, because all the nutritions have a positive energy outside, and so if they have, for example, 100 microvolts outside, they need the 100 microvolt also inside. The mitochondria has the same, they must speed up.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
Okay. So for this reason, the nutritions need to, it is important that the nutrition came to the door, came to the receptors, and they'll say, hey, I want to get in the cell. But the problem is we drink beer, we don't walk. Yeah, for example, if we were 10,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago, when we killed a tiger with our hands, yeah, we walked 80 kilometers a day.
Mm-hmm.
So the complete body was very, very tough, and the energy was flowing. And now we only walk 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
from the door to the train station. From the train station, then we take a seat in the train, on the subway. Then we drive to the office. We sit down in front of a computer, 8 hours. Then we go back. That's it. So the body is not active anymore. And for this reason, the energy of the mitochondria goes down. And the nutrition cannot come in the cell. And in the veins, we get all this calc. For example, if we eat too much meat, and the vein get very dirty. What's
Cholesterol.
I don't know.
Plaque. Plaque.
Plaque. Yes, we get the plaque in the veins, and then the nutrients don't get through the plaque, through the lymph system to the cells. So some people say we have a gene which is responsible for getting older, but there's also the thesis that a cell can live as long as it wants, if it gets the nutrition what it needs.
Right. So there's all these obstacles to the cell remaining healthy.
Yes, and the cell gets older by starvation.
Right.
Because it doesn't get the nutrition anymore, and then the receptors works very slowly. They've made the energy level goes down, and the water fills itself with water, and the cell fills itself with water. And
right.
then you have, for example, the cell gets bigger, and then it presses on the nerve, and then you have pain in the back.
Okay.
So can I recap?
Yeah, let's recap. That's
because when you were talking about Schumann resonance, or the resonance of the planet, I think when we're in coherence with that, our cells would be healthier. But then there's all this electromagnetic garbage that's in our environment, and then there's also our lack of exercise and lack of proper nutrition. So all these things are driving the energy of the cell down, and
Correct.
down to a place where we can develop disease.
Correct.
Okay. And so Schumann resonance, if we can get in contact with that must also help the health of the cell. And is that also what your electromagnetic machines do? Like, they help the cell recover?
Yes, because the whole body starts to relax. Yeah, the muscles, for example, if I am in a very in the field with a lot of electronics, my muscles get very hard. Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes when I lay down in the Schumann frequency, then it takes a little bit time. I'm shaking, and then sometimes it gets easier, and after 10 minutes my body is relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the stress that we live in every day, that we
Yes.
get that tense.
There are so many points of stress. We have the lack of nutrition because of the food, which is poison or which doesn't have anything. For example, if you take an apple 50 years ago, you got real vitamins. If you eat now, I think you can eat 10 apples if you get in order to get the vitamins of one apple 50 years ago or more. Yeah. So we eat something but don't get the nutrition. We have a lot of stress. The problem is we are available every time, 24 hours. We have to react on very different in very different ways. We have to, and it is like also, for example, for the children. This is another subject. The children, for example, they love the movies, or they love internet and videos, because the movies and the movements in the screen getting faster and faster. Yeah, for example, take a look. Watch a movie 50 years ago. How slowly everything was. That people talk 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences, one person alone, and then the other one started to talk. So it was a real conversation, and you had time to get the atmosphere of this scene. And now in the movies, they are going faster and faster, especially in comics. And this gives a specific information to the brain, which is, for example, for an adult, like driving a Porsche or driving a Lamborghini with 300 kilometers an hour over the highway. Mm-hmm. It's stress, but it's a cool feeling.
Right, it's like an adrenaline stimulating feeling.
Yes, and this is the situation. We are the whole time on this fast track. We don't recognize it. We do not recognize it, and then we get exhausted because we have to concentrate the whole time, which is nearly impossible.
Yeah, it's like, I describe it as fight or flight, where you're always in a state of that you have to run, or it's a state of stress, whereas we want to be in a state of relaxation. And I often talk about breathing to do that. So what ways do we need to, how do you suggest people restore the energy of their cell?
First of all, nutrition. They need to take vitamin C, for example, zinc, vitamin B12. This is very important. Mm-hmm. They should ask their doctor for this. And this in combination with pulsed electromagnetic field system, in combination with biological resonance therapy, and maybe laser acupuncture.
And acupuncture. What?
Laser acupuncture, yes.
Laser acupuncture.
And homeopathy.
And homeopathy, yes.
Hartmut, what type of vitamin C are you referring to? Like oral or intravenous?
I don't know. I must admit, I'm not a doctor. I'm a salesman. I'm a salesman, a bank clerk, ex-bank clerk, and but I only have knowledge about this subject because my lady, she is ill for. She has been ill for 26 years. She has multiple sclerosis, and for this reason, I'm very deep involved because we don't take any medical drugs. We only work on the alternative basis. For this reason, I have a lot of experiences with medical devices, and some people collect cars. I collect medical devices. Yeah, this is the same.
So, would you be able to explain what these electromagnetic devices do to the body and how they're applied to the body?
First of all, they by laying in this magnetic field, the ions are pushed to the cell. And the electricity in the body is increased. For example, we have, for example, this role. The red blood cells, they may, if you have a lack of energy, of electricity in the body, the red blood cells stick together in rolls.
Right.
And then you have only the outside of the roll and the end and the beginning where the oxygen can be transported.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So, and this is, for example, the problem in the case of diabetes, because 75% of the body has capillaries. Capillaries, is that correct? Capillaries.
Yes, capillaries. Yes, the
Capillaries. Yes, 75% of the body we have capillaries, and they are so small that only one blood cell, which has a position to be flexible, it can go in the capillary. But if you don't have the energy, then you have all the blood rolls, and then you don't have blood circulations in the capillaries, and then you have to cut off one toe, for example.
Right.
And by increasing the electromagnetic fields, all these red blood cells get a positive and a negative electricity, and they separate each other. And then, and by this way, you can increase the oxygen transportation in the blood up to 600%. And also the situation, and also if someone has diabetes, also the capillaries, in the case, for example, in the toe, is working together. It's get blood again. So maybe there's a possibility that you don't need to cut off any toe or any finger, because the energy is there and the blood circulation is there.
I've heard that 5G can cause this as well, this rouleau of the red blood cells, so that the body can't receive oxygen.
Yes, because first of all, the 5G with 66 gigahertz, I guess, I hope it's the right frequency. First of all, it changed the atom of the oxygen itself. And secondly, it goes in resonance with the iron in our body. And in that case, the blood cells are not able, I don't know how, this is the only what I know, then the blood cells are not able to transport the oxygen anymore.
So it actually changes the morphology of the red blood cell so that it can no longer carry the 4 hemoglobins, which carry 4 oxygen. It changes.
Yeah, this can be, but this is, I only know that it goes in resonance with the iron in our body.
With the iron?
We have iron in our body, yeah.
Yeah. So
this is a problem.
Well,
and here in Germany, for example, there was a very interesting study which is gone right now. It was 3 weeks ago. It was a study made by Italians, Russians, and Americans. And they found out that, for example, with 5G, the cell get damaged. And if the cell is damaged, then the cell creates, in order to repair itself, an exosome. Exosome?
Yeah, that's correct. Exosome.
And this exosome, you cannot separate, or for example, for a scientist, it's difficult to make a difference between this exosome and a virus. And the PCR tests finds the exosome.
Exactly.
And for this reason, you get tested positive. When you have all the cases in the United States are areas, for example, Florida, they have established in a huge quantity 5G. And this is now the situation that, because you cannot make a difference between exosome and the virus, because the virus is dead.
Right.
Yeah, and I hope we have here in Germany, we have the big hope that in the United States there will be issued a lawsuit against the PCR test in the next days.
That would be exciting.
In Germany, we made already a lawsuit against the inventor of the PCR test, which is used worldwide,
Right.
because there's no scientific proof, no
No.
scientific foundation.
What's happening is the cell is getting poisoned
Yes.
by different
frequency.
things and by frequency, and
Yes.
giving off an exosome, which is being seen by the PCR test as a positive,
Yes.
as a virus, but it's not. It's the exosome. Oh, wow, that's so interesting, Hartmut.
That's very interesting. And with scientists knowing that this 5G is actually changing our ability to oxygenate our bodies through proper morphology of red blood cells, why is it happening to our world, Hartmut? Do you have the answer to that?
Well,
That's a big question.
I saw a very interesting German video today, and this. Oh yes, I have to be very careful right now. I have to make a video about it because I have to check.
Yeah, it's okay.
The World Economic Forum. In the World Economic Forum, there is the possibility to see everything because they wrote everything down. From human engineering, from COVID-19, everything. So everything is written on the Economic Forum.
Right, so you can go there and get information if you want.
I will take a look, and then I will write a description how to get there. And this is so it's she said the target is to stop the fertility of the human beings, and because of the climate certificates, for example, if you want to have a baby, you have to get a climate certificate because we produce carbon dioxide, and then you can go to a company and buy a baby.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
This is written on this homepage.
Yeah, that's maybe not where we want to go.
Nope. But it's only a plan. But you asked me, and I answered.
I mean, that information is out there. Hartmut, how do you protect yourself against 5G? You know, is there a way, or like it's?
I have. One time I make a lot of time. I take this my medical device, and this supports me in order to restore, and doing meditation. Finding a place which is quite neutral, and doing meditation, because and I know that, for example, in the Canada, it's very difficult because in 2017 I was on a speech from a professor from Canada, and she said that many people in Canada have autism or have ADS, and the reason is because the limits for the frequencies for the power of the telecommunication is 5 times higher than in Germany, because you're such a big country, and in order to reach people, they need a lot of energy, which is 5 times higher than here in Germany. And for this reason, in Canada, there are many people who are sick, who have autism, who have burnout, who have several types of cancer, and all that stuff.
Yeah, so what do we need to do here in Canada?
For this reason, I said the meditation.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Would that include grounding, Hartmut? Like just being in touch with the earth?
That's very important.
Yeah.
For example, you can call, well, for me, for example, every energy is also light. Yeah, for example, you are also a light being. If you understand. The earth is a light being. For example, I can call the light of the earth, I can call the light of the central sun. I can call the light of the kingdom of dolphins. I can call the light of the kingdom of whales. And that moment, you get a feeling for this energy, and then it comes down, and also the 5 frequencies in the brain, for example, alpha, beta 1, beta 2, delta, and theta waves getting in harmony. For example, this is
Meditation kind of harmonizes these brain waves in our body.
sorry.
Are you saying that meditation harmonizes the
Yes.
brain waves, the brain frequencies in our body?
Yes. Meditation and, for example, pulse electromagnetic field systems. This is the situation. The most problem of ADS is, or first problem of ADS is a patent. Attention deficit syndrome is a patent on a catalog of questions. So if you have answered this catalog and then someone says you have ADS or not, then this is only because of the answering of the question of this specific catalog. Then you can say someone has ADS. If you try to find out how the frequencies work in the brain, the 5 frequency which I mentioned, and you find out that he has problems with the attention, you are not allowed to say that he has ADS. It's very weird.
Attention deficit syndrome.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very weird because if you ask this, if all the questions are answered, then if you have ADS, in that moment the children get Ritalin, the medical drug, and that's it. But there are several types of attention deficits, and this has to be examined with electroencephalography, and which can be trained by neurofeedback.
Neurofeedback.
And, for example, also, what's the word? No, I forgot. There are several. The problem is that these frequencies are completely disharmonized, and then the people get an ADS syndrome. And I have, for example, in my case, I have this many times if I work too close to these mobile phones. I got nervous, I cannot concentrate, and as I said, I'm hypersensitive for these things. And then I get big problems, and then I have to go away from these areas, and I have to stay and have to calm down, and then I can, if I have a connection to my heart again, then it's okay.
Yeah, so what you're saying is to recover, meditation, somewhere where you're away from electromagnetic, connected to the earth, and connected to your heart frequency, which will bring you back into resonance and restore the energy of the cell and make you stronger and able to absorb more nutrients. And start the road to recovery.
And okay, before going to cancer, I can also talk about burnout. The most problem of burnout is that the most people think that this is a psychological disease. And it is not a psychological disease. The psychological stress was only the reason for burnout, but it is not the disease itself, because by the psychological stress, the immune system goes down, and then bacteria come into the blood, which makes you feel tired. And this is the reason why also after 5 or 6 or 10 hours or 20 hours at the psychologist, you are still tired because the blood is full of bacteria, which makes you tired. And then, for example, by meditation, we had a yoga day. This was really interesting in Germany, International Yoga Day. And then I asked one, because she said she had burnout, I asked her, how long did it take to get out of the burnout? And she said 7 years. Yeah.
Mm.
And with a pulse electromagnetic field system, including biological resonance, you can get out within 3 months.
A
Because
burnout.
the biological resonance therapy hit the bacteria which cause the tiredness.
Right.
Right.
So let's go. You were going to mention cancer.
Yes. Concerning cancer, it's cancer. The problem is cancer is a very, in my opinion. Yeah, as I said, I'm a salesman, not a doctor. But as you maybe feel, I know a little bit because I learned a lot. First of all, it seems to be a very personal disease. So the problem is, if someone has cancer, so everyone in the family, in the friendship, around him, for example, the friends, the doctors, everyone says what you have to do. And this is very difficult because they don't get a feeling for themselves anymore, because they only have to go one direction and that's it. So it is very important that someone who has cancer stops, say thank you to everyone, but tries to find out his own way. And then in my opinion, he should start with osteopathy. Yeah, also right? Osteopathy. Yeah,
Which is the
because
manipulation of body parts in
yes,
all body parts,
because
bones, vessels,
yes,
tissue, muscles.
yeah, because he came to this. If someone has cancer, he had a lot of stress in the past, and this stress is also in the muscles. And normally, for example, the sphenoid bone is not in the right position. And if the sphenoid bone is not in the right position, then the upper and the lower jaw have also are not in harmony. Yeah, and you have so much muscle, you have so much power here in the jaw, it goes directly to the what was the word?
Pelvis.
Pelvis, correct. Directly to the pelvis. And then you have one leg longer than the other one. This causes that on the one leg is more weight than on the other one. For example, in my case, 60 kilogram on one leg and the other one 40 kilogram. So that you get also pain in the knees. And it's only a question of time when you want to go to the doctor and you have to go to the hospital and to make an operation. But if you get the sphenoid bone in balance, and then everything is also adjusted by an osteopath, in that moment both knees are have to carry the same weight, and then you don't produce the same time. You don't produce pain the same time. It's for yeah. If one leg is longer than the other, every time you have pain with the time, and this is the destruction in yourself.
It's so amazing too that you are telling us about this, Hartmut, because when people have knee pain, osteopaths realize that it's generally not the knee, and you're saying that it comes from a skull bone, the sphenoid, that is holding all of this stress in the jaw, which actually affects the pelvis, which then affects the gait or how the person's walking. So that needs to be shifted if you have cancer, because they're holding a lot of stress in their biodynamics.
Yes.
Okay.
And this also infects the way of thinking.
How so?
Because the whole time the body is in the wrong position. First of all, it's like having it's like driving a car, and on one side of the car in the tires is lower pressure. Yeah.
Right.
For example, 50%. So the whole time you have to steer in the right position so that you can drive straight ahead. And this is stressful. And this makes the mind the whole time, every day, 24 hours a day. Because it's the same, he has to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
And this attention of the brain cannot use for the immune system. If it's adjusted, the brain can relax and can say, okay, everything is fine, and now I can take a look for the immune system.
Right. You're saying that because of this stress, so much energy is going into working around that there's no energy left to go into the immune system and look after what's going on.
And as I made dowsing, the problem is if you have stress in your body, you have an energy field around yourself, which has the length of one of the complete arm. Yeah. So this is like your energy field. If someone is staying in this field, this must be someone with whom you feel very comfortable. Otherwise, you want to put him away. You want to push him away. This is your field here, one arm length. And
what is that field?
For example,
what is that field? Is it electromagnetic? What is it?
Yeah, it's an electromagnetic field. It's your field. It's your aura field, or
your aura.
We call it in the dowsing. We call it reaction distance. This is, for example, if a hunter wants to go to an animal from the back and wants to shoot it, and it comes in a specific, for example, 3, 4, 5 meters. The animal knows it without hearing, without seeing anything. It feels the energy of the hunter. And we have this field around us as well.
That is so true. And we see that even in martial arts, how these martial art fighters can fight blindfolded. They know where the next punch or kick is coming.
And the problem is, if, for example, and I made the tests. It was so funny. I made this test of this field, and sometimes the field is double. Yeah. And I put someone. I take someone on a neutral place, and then I say, okay, let me measure your reaction distance field, and then I measure it's 2 or 3 or 4 meters. And I said, it doesn't work because the field is neutral. How do you have a smartphone? Yes, here. I said, okay, switch it off, and then the field is normal. Oh, so. Wow. If you are carrying such a device with you, the whole time your reaction distance field in dowsing is 3 to 4 meters, because the body feels the danger. And if you switch off the mobile data, only to switch off the mobile data transaction, so that you can only phone with it and you have no internet, it reduces its energy to 60 microwatts from 2000.
Wow. So having our cell phones with us on all the time increases our electromagnetic aura?
Decreases?
No, it makes the stress. For example, if there's a hunt, if a hunter, or if someone is pulling a gun on you, in that moment, you expand the field because of the danger.
Oh, okay.
Because you want to feel the danger also in 4 meters, not only in 1.50 meters or in 1 meter. You want to feel the danger in 4 meters. For this reason, the complete body goes in a modus of danger. And if the body is in the modus of danger, in that moment you activate your forehead. You have the huge brain. And you have the forehead. And the forehead has only 2 reactions: attack or run. And this is the reason why many people are so aggressive, or because why the people who are aggressive has such increased so much, because the people are the whole time in the aggressive mode. They only think with their forehead. Also in conversations. If you have a conversation with someone, normally sometimes you have the feeling you're on a battlefield, but you're in a conversation, and this is because they are stressed so much.
So,
Most,
sorry, Hartmut, how does connecting to the heart change all that?
The heart. No, what was the question?
How, if you are in this state of stress in the forehead, if you refocus your point of concentration to your heart, how does it change your field?
Well, if I focus on the heart, for example, I can be everywhere where I want to. There's the light speed and there's the thought speed. The thought speed is much faster than the light speed. And depending where I'm going to with my thoughts, then I can relax. This is the concentration. For example, if someone is listening to the voices of dolphins, just relax. There's so many CDs in the market where you can listen to dolphins and music, and they are quite good. And this can relax, for example. And this is important that the people, and also the people have to get cautious with information. For example, concerning COVID, concerning every type of information, every kind of information. For example, what I told you about the World Economic Forum. This information stressed the body. It's like taking a poisoned mushroom. Yeah, and this has to be in small doses. Otherwise, you are the whole time only taking. You're a taker of information, and you poison yourself, and you stress, and then you don't have the power. I know it very well because I was like this. I sucked all the information about COVID-19 from all different areas, and then I was not able to work anymore in the right way because the body needs to, or the brain needs to handle the information. But on the other side, it creates subconsciously fear.
Yeah.
And with fear, you're not able to manage anything. Mm-hmm. And for this reason, it's also important, or for example, also for cancer treatment, to get out of the fear and start something new.
That's a beautiful point. And it's difficult because often when people get for example, a stage 4 cancer diagnosis, they're given a prognosis by an expert that tells them that their life is coming to an end fairly soon. And of course, that evokes a lot of fear.
Yes.
So if it were you that was given a diagnosis like that, how would you approach it?
I know a doctor in Italy, for example, and the doctor in Italy, he had a patient. He told me the situation. He had a patient who had a lung tumor, a huge one, and he made his treatment by supplements, by pulse electromagnetic field system, and all this stuff. And he could decrease the size of the tumor to 50%. So. And then the family of this patient insisted that now he has to make a real treatment, school medicine, radiation. Interesting was that with this kind of treatment, in this case, the size of the tumor went up to 100% again, and the lung was full of metastasis. Then he went back to this doctor in Italy. He made his kind of treatment, and the metastasis went away, and the size went back to 50%.
So this was through bioresonance and
bioresonance, magnetic field system, I guess laser acupuncture. supplements. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's very important. The situation is the cancer cell sucks a lot of energy, also from the other cells. So it can increase, and the other cells get affected as well. And so it is very important that the other cells, which this cancer wants to infect, have enough power to hold the situation how it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And often these chemotherapies that were introduced to with cancers, they deplete the body's cells, the red blood cells, the white blood cells, as well as the cancer cells. So your overall body is losing power.
Yeah. There is, for example, there is also possibility to make a classical, for example, mistletoe therapy.
Mistletoe?
Yes, mistletoe therapy, which is possible, for example, to make this in combination with pulsed electromagnetic field system, because this device or this system nourishes or brings the medical drug directly to the cell, so that the quantity of the drug can be reduced, so that all the side effects are not there.
Mm-hmm.
This is also possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rather than treating the whole body and.
Yes. For example, make a classical therapy with pulse electromagnetic field systems, and increasing the health situation of the other cells by nutrition. Yes.
So that's what you would do, Hartmut.
Well, I take some nutritions.
Yeah.
You've
And
also
take this device. Yes, I take this magnetic field system.
Okay.
Correct. This is and doing meditation. Yeah.
You've also mentioned that there is a bit of a self-destructive energy or electromagnetic energy with cancer. Could you explain that?
Well, the self-destruction comes from the stress, and normally maybe from an accident, for example, from the sphenoid bone.
Mm-hmm.
This was what I wanted to tell. If someone has a very tough disease, he should try to get a very good osteopath in order to adjust the sphenoid bone, the jaw, the muscles, and the pelvis, so that he starts to feel how it is in a body which has the right weight proportions, so that everything is okay and that he can walk straight.
So get the body in alignment.
Yeah, this is the first thing in order to get a body alignment, and in that moment it can result that the people get a better thought. For example, if they stay straight in the door and see how large they are, this is a completely different feeling when they walk like this. The head in the front, and a very bad back and all that stuff, which is not relaxed. They need to get a feeling for a relaxed body the first time, so that they can relax all in their thoughts.
So counter from what we're taught in North America, where we're constantly trying to achieve something, and everyone stays in a constant state of stress, and we're surrounded by these devices, and so between our mind and our environment, it really sets us up for.
And especially like a lot of people sleep with their phone on.
Yeah.
So their electromagnetic energy, as you were saying, in that kind of danger alert condition.
The whole time the body is an alert system, in an alert situation. Correct.
So these would be
the wireless alarm. The wireless alarm of the neighbor comes directly in my flat.
Yeah.
From the top, from the bottom, from right, from the left.
Yeah.
And so dowsing, that's a new term to me. Dowsing is, what is that? Can you explain that to us?
Dowsing is, for example, well, it's spooky. No, it's someone. For example, I can take. I think I can take 2 iron sticks, or I can take a piece of wood, or kinesiology. Kinesiology works also this way. I can feel energetic fields in the earth. For example, if there's water and the water runs through specific earth layers, and the earth layers are different, and there are, for example, stones, and by floating the water, when it floats through the stones, then there electricity is established, and this electricity goes up to the surface of the earth. And it is like, for example, if you take a shower, and for example, if you take the shower and there's a lot of pressure of water coming through on you, yeah, but you have constantly water at the same time. But now you change the water flow, for example, to very small, then to large, then small, large, small, large, and then you try to hold the arm while the water is coming on the arm. It's very exhausting because you have to adjust the arm the whole time. And this is what happens if you lay on a water line, for example, or in a geopathic field. The body has to adjust itself the whole night, and you wake up, or someone wakes up and is very exhausted. For this reason, it's also very important for cancer patients to start a new life. The most people make a cancer therapy, then they come back to their home, they sleep in the same bed, they do the same routine, and then that moment the cancer can come back. But if they start to change their life, move away, make a real decision in order to live healthy, in that moment they have the possibility to live very long. For example, if one patient who is sleeping on a water line, and you go in a park with him and you say, okay, select one bench where you want to sit down. He sits down on a bench under which is a water line, because he is used to have this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also a state of mind which has to be changed. And one, for example, for starting is going to an osteopath in order to adjust the sphenoid bone, in order to adjust the complete body, so that he gets a feeling how it is to have a relaxed body without stress.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying too, though, that what we get addicted and used to a certain state, and it can be what you're saying, where you sleep with the water lines. It can be the way you think and the stress, and it can be the way your body is constantly carrying this discord. So we have to retrain ourselves
Yes.
to be in a relaxed state, connected to our heart.
Yes.
Right.
And the right nutritions, which are recommended by very good naturopath doctor, for example, so that the cell gets the energy again.
Mm-hmm.
The cell wants to get nutrition. This is the most important thing. And if they don't get the nutrition, then the energy is decreased. And for example, with laser therapy, you can increase the ATP production in the mitochondria directly. There was one case of someone who has cut off his finger completely, so including fingernail, gone. Normally, this is you have a cut finger and that's it. Yeah? But by laser therapy together in combination with pulse electric magnetic field systems, the cell got so much power, so much energy, that the cell itself can remember its function. And for this reason, it's possible that a complete new finger, including fingernail, not 100%, but nearly 90%, can grow, including fingernail. Yeah, like a salamander, nearly.
Because again, it's supersizing this mitochondria, this power to the cells.
Yes. Adenosine triphosphate, ATP. This is the thing. It's a question of producing ATP in the cells.
Can we switch gears and talk about the brain waves a little bit? Like, I know there's a lot of talk about getting, doing that subconscious work right before you fall asleep and right when you wake up, that you can access your subconscious mind because you're in a different wavelength in your brain. Can you explain how that kind of helps? Because I've always been told to do positive affirmation or meditation right before I go to sleep because it infiltrates the subconscious mind.
Yes, because if someone has stress, for example, or has seen a movie like a thriller or something like this, in that moment he has produced adrenaline, and we have the alpha waves, we have the beta 1, beta 2, which are stress waves. We have the theta waves, which are theta waves, and the delta waves. And the beta waves and the beta 1 and beta 2, these waves has to be reduced. But if we are on stress, these waves are very high. And then it's very difficult to sleep. So we need to get it reduced. And for example, with such a device, with pulse electromagnetic field systems, they have the possibility to create such a magnetic field that it has the frequency of sleep. And then the head is in this field, and the brain recognizes this energy, and it adjusts itself to this field, and then you fall asleep. And you can do this by meditation as well. And this is something where someone has to find his way of meditation in order to get relaxed. It can also be good music.
Beautiful. So I think
very important is very important is the electro-smog from the cell phones, wireless LAN, but also the electro-smog from the wires itself. For example, if we have a lamp directly to our bed, the lamp has no grounding this time. The old lamps, for the old electricity, they have grounding, and then the electricity was, they were grounded, and you don't have so much electro-smog of the wires. But if you have the wire in the wall, very old one, they create also an electric field, and this electric field is also not good.
Because it pulls on our field as well.
It pulls, yes, but for example, there are, if you take, for example, the positive and the negative wire, and you turn it around itself like this, then you have an induction field of 0, and that's okay. These are the modern wires, and this is something for people have to look for. And then there are many devices on the market in order to create a field so that the people can relax. The most devices on the market, for example, to create an energy field in a room, they don't stop the waves. Yeah, This is not the same. For example, you have, it doesn't matter what kind of device you have, but the waves are still there. But these devices, if it's a good one, what's the word? Not the kidney below, or the kidney beside. What's the word? You have
The adrenal gland.
Adrenal gland. Is this a kidney? You have two kidneys, and then you have
The adrenal glands. Are you talking
the
about?
adrenal gland. Yes, and a good device increase the production of the adrenal gland, and then the body has a possibility to handle or to manage the stress which is brought by the environment. It can manage the stress better.
That makes sense.
So you're talking about devices you can wear or put on your computer.
You can wear, you can put on the field, you can put in your house, and etc.
Yeah, so it just helps.
Yeah.
So
work with this.
they reduce the body's cortex.
They increase this adrenal gland. Sorry, my English is not so good. And then it increase that the immune system, so that the immune system can manage the stress which comes from the environment, but it doesn't have the effect on the environment.
What machine could you recommend for if somebody wanted to get one of these in their bedroom, if they were suffering from insomnia?
The situation is, I don't make any advertisements in interviews.
Yes.
Because the situation is this, for example, I talk about a lot of medical stuff. I can't talk about the medical stuff as long as don't mention any name.
Right.
But you know what
if
we
I
could do?
One name in that moment, it's I make a heal. It could be sent as a heal statement, and then I get a problem. And for this reason, I said there's a possibility maybe to work like this and that, and that's it.
Yeah. Can people get in touch with you, Hartmut, and just ask for information?
Yes.
Yeah. So we could put your contact information in the description of the post. And I also wanted to finish up with one last question. You're starting a podcast called On Your Own Path.
Go your own path. Yes.
Go your own path,
Yes.
which is really exciting. And because you're talking about people need to listen like we are, it's really interesting. We're similar, but to their own unique, their own information from inside. And just explain what your thoughts are on that.
It's quite simple. 80% of the people who have a job are quite unsatisfied with their job and with their situation in life. And the problem is because of the environment, because of the routine, they feel very unsatisfied, and sometimes many people get exhausted when they are 35 already. And I want to give them the information why this could be and how they can change it, and how I want to encourage them to go their own path. So this means, okay, I am in this situation. This situation can be caused by this reason, that reason, and so on. Do I want to go this way further, or is something else? And for this reason, I want to give them specific information, for example, also about medical things or about technologies, so that they can expand their mind and that they maybe get the courage to make the step and go their own path.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm sure you're going to help a lot of people as you helped us and our listeners today. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. My pleasure.
So good, Hartmut. Such important information. I want to acknowledge you and thank you for that. And for
my pleasure.
Yes, and for everyone out there, I want to remind them, don't give away your power to someone else. Just be you.
Yeah, that's in that moment you can make a difference.
Right?